Oh, we're live. We're live. Move over. All right. So Jared's a little concerned about us going live, so I'm going to let him sit here for a minute by himself.
Awesome.
So,
good.
Introduce yourself, Jared.
Hi, I'm the uncomfortable one.
Talk.
Hi, I'm Jared. I am the closed-minded, judgmental Mormon.
We're sitting in bed.
Tristan's husband.
We're sitting in bed doing this. I'm going to try to see if I plug in my microphone, if that will help.
Get some music going.
Because we are in bed, you know. Let me see. Hopefully this won't affect anything. That one person, can you hear us? I don't know who you are. Oh, but I got funny hair going on. All right. So, first of all, and I got to remember to look over here. See that little thing? Hi, Karen. Say hi to Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Okay, because I know Karen had some questions.
I'm sure she does.
Yes. Karen, can you hear both me and Jared with the microphone? Awesome. Okay. So, first of all, before I get started, I just want to thank all of you who have subscribed to my channel and made me surpass 100. And before we get started, I have a little statistic for those of you who are going to watch this later and be like, my channel's dead and whoop-de-doo, you have 100. We were just talking about this on the way back from church tonight. And there are a couple people that are part of this I Am a Creator-thon crap, this sub for sub program. And they are almost at 1,000 subscribers. And everybody like, woo, 1,000, that's great. But their views are only like 100. Okay, so they have 1,000 subscribers, but their viewing is only 100. So they're only getting 10%. Now, that's just one. So I looked at another person's, and she only has 350 subscribers, and her viewage is 30 to 50. No, 30. Only 30 to 50 on her videos. So they're only getting a 10% view rate out of all of those subscribers. Now, I have 102 subscribers. And guess how many people are watching some of my videos? Karen, want to guess? About a 75 to 100% view. Yes. So for those of you who are going to watch this later and troll me and harass me, guess what? You know what? My channel's not dead. My viewers are real and they watch my content, and I am blessed beyond blessed to have the subscribers that I do, because my viewage per subscriber is a 75 to 100% ratio. Woo! All right, so we are here to talk about, wait, first, you gotta see this makeup. This is from, isn't that pretty? Karen, part of this is from your palette that you gave me from the IT Cosmetics, but also look at that eyeshadow. Come on, girl, right? That's some eyeshadow. That's from Tavin. Tavin picked that out for Revolution. It is the rose gold chocolate palette. It's pretty, isn't it?
It is.
I'm not here to talk about my makeup. I'm not here to talk about my subscribers.
We're here to talk about my makeup.
And really, quite literally, we are here to talk about his makeup. That's a really good way of putting it.
I was joking. I'm not wearing makeup, but
You do a great job, right? Yeah. I know. Are you talking about Tavin or are you talking about Jared's makeup?
She's talking about my makeup because, I do have a theater background.
Well, you did used to wear makeup. Tavin, are you the other person watching? Oh, Tavin, he did. Did you watch the video? He did such a great job. I am so proud of him. It was so fun. Like, I started crying when I was putting the video together because I didn't know what to expect. When they went to Ulta, I didn't see that video until I put all of the video stuff together, and I started crying watching my little boy pick out makeup. Oh, he is making up with me. That is what we're talking about. And he did do a good job.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I've got a really
Doink.
stupid sense of humor.
Okay, so anyway. We are here to talk about Jared's makeup with me and how that happened. And I first of all want to give a disclaimer. You need to look into that.
Right. No, I was...
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the thing. We did this video series and it's been a great success and it's been blessing people. And just so we know, I need Tavin to stop yelling in the background. Just so you know, it has touched some marriages. It has changed some marriages. And one of those marriages, believe it or not, is Jared's very own parents. Like, seriously, never in my wildest dreams would I think that,
I didn't really want to announce that to the world live, but yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to tell people the good news about your parents?
No, it's great.
Your family doesn't watch me anyway. They hate me.
They do not. My parents are healing from it.
Right.
Oops.
Whoops.
Oops,
I started.
My parents are healing from it too. Yeah. And it's awesome. It is.
Yeah. So his dad has been watching my videos, our videos, and really got convicted by it by the Lord, and is doing an amazing, great, wonderful thing. And they are, can I say it?
Yeah, but we're talking about my story. And...
Oh, it's all about you?
Yeah, it's all about me.
It's my channel.
Yeah, no.
This is my channel.
This is all about me.
It's about me. It's my channel.
All right.
Okay. Anyway. But leading up to that, because the videos, right? He's a first timer. So the reality is that those videos have been so successful and so amazing. Now, Karen, if you have any questions, start thinking about them. Questions for Jared, because I know you had some questions for him, and I think he's scared, but that's okay. We're here to scare him. That's what we're here for. They've been really helpful and great for a lot of people, and they're getting a lot of views, and that was never my intention. My intention was really just to tell my story because I felt it was so powerful, and I felt the Lord did such an amazing thing in our marriage, considering when I left for jail, the last thing I thought was that my husband wanted to leave me, that his we're going to be asking questions because he doesn't know what to do. And I'm going to get to that, Karen, because oh, excuse me, why do I keep burping whenever we're together on these videos? Do you notice he's wearing the same shirt from the videos series? It's like nostalgic. Okay, so anyway, Jared was supposed to tell his story, and he said he was going to do it like the next day, I think. When I did my live video, Jared said he was going to do his video the next day, but his schedule is so crazy. So anyway, I came home one day to find him recording in my studio, my makeup studio, and he's recording, and all I'm hearing is, they took her away in handcuffs. I didn't want the restraining order. I got a flat tire. I had to call my mom. The first person I wanted to call was Tristine. And it was just like a matter of fact kind of thing.
Right. Because I'm a guy, and that's what we do.
Really?
Right? No,
No.
I was going over my experiences. I didn't, yeah. I didn't realize that,
Feelings were involved.
feelings were involved, and I had to get all emotional and
Oh my gosh, but he cried in those videos.
emotions.
Are you kidding me? You want to? Here's the true
No,
story.
no,
Here's the true
yeah.
story. I hate love songs. This guy, Saparuli.
Fanilow, just
Just
throwing it out there. Barry Manilow,
no, he's not.
could it be magic?
Oh, come on. Oh my God. I swear to God, we're going to get totally trolled by
There you
people
go.
on this. Okay.
Screw the trolls.
I don't want to. So, what?
They're sexy.
Stop it.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, he's a little uncomfortable. Okay, so we're like complete opposite. He's like crying on the videos, but yet now he's like, I'm a man. Oh, wow.
No, I'm joking around
And he is
because I'm
joking around.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. So when he was doing those videos, I'm just sitting back here minding my own business. But then I'm like, he gets done and I'm like, so when did you change? What made you change? What made you change your mind about our marriage? And it was like one of those things where he was like, well, I don't know. I was just telling my story. I'm like, that's not telling your story. Kind of telling, a timeline of I got a flat tire and then my mom got my tire and then I came home and watched the never ending story. And it just sounded like, woo, I came home and I watched the never ending story. Well, yeah, oh, this is fun. And I'm in jail. Okay. I ain't watching the never ending story. I'm listening to the never ending stories.
I'm eating some popcorn. I ordered some pizza. No,
I hadn't
I
eaten
didn't.
in days, and
I
he's like
didn't.
watching the never ending story, having a good old time.
didn't.
I miss
I-
you too.
I honestly didn't even eat either
Oh,
that day. but,
sure. That day.
Yeah.
Well, you got to drink something though, right? Because I didn't. I couldn't even get water. Did you hear my story?
Yeah,
I asked for water and they threw me in a hole
No, you got water out of the
on
toilet.
top of the toilet.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah. It's something.
Toilet water.
It's good. Okay, so God, we get off on a tangent when we're live. This is and this is the reason why it took me so long to get our videos up, because a lot of chopping and editing.
All right. Yeah. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's get started, right? Because we've already lost. Oh, right. No, not even bread. Dude, Karen, that bread was so stale and so nasty. I like, bleh, like the second that bread hit my mouth and that's stale, spoiled meat, and the cheese was not fresh. It was like that gooey, like it's been sitting there forever. It's like, ugh. Right, yeah. And the water came from the top of the toilet. Ugh. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to ask Jared some questions emotionally, like how he handled the situation, because I don't feel like anybody really got that besides him boo-hooing on the video, like such a crybaby. No, seriously. Well, because from my perspective, as you know, as the video went along, as the video series went, I can't say it, as the video series went along, that when I came home, I was scared and I wasn't sure what to expect from Jared. So for him to come at me with love was really quite surprising, because the last words I heard were, this marriage is over. And the way he said it, and then, like I said, when I drove off, we have to remember that as I drove off in the police car, the last thing I see is Jared just nonchalantly like, woo, yeah, my wife's gone. This is awesome. Thanks, man. High five. And
No.
they weren't doing that. But in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Like, he's like, thanks, buddy.
No, and what was actually going on was totally not that. Cops.
Okay, so with that being said, that's where I kind of want to start. So I want to ask Jared these questions to kind of go through that timeline so that everybody else can kind of get a perspective of where you are coming from, because you were in that mindset. Jared was in that mindset. This marriage is over at that
Yeah.
moment when you said it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, you and me both, sister. She wanted to chop your right off. I told you. I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a very hard time speaking, and you gotta look into this little thing. Okay, so let's ask this question, because Jared was over. In his head, it was like it's over. And I've never ever heard Jared say those words to me. Like, this is over, the marriage is over. He was very matter of fact about it. So when in your mind, Jared, did you say, what just happened, and that's not how I feel? Like, when you went down to the lake, did you still feel that way?
No, I didn't feel that way. And I didn't quite honestly 100% feel that way even when I said it. I didn't want any of it to get out of control the way that it did in the first place.
Neither did I. Thanks to
None of
your
us did.
mama.
Yeah, okay. But when I went down there,
Down to the lake.
yeah, when I went
Not down there. Down to the
when I
lake.
when I went down to the lake, I cried, and prayed, and that's not what I wanted.
Okay, so, but then the police were calling you. Why weren't you picking up the phone?
Because I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Okay. But then when Tavin called you, what made you decide to pick up when Tavin called? Because I don't know if you guys are aware, there's a thing called Kids Messenger. Oh, you see that? Still there?
Yeah.
Okay. So when there's a thing called Kids Messenger, and when you actually you can set it up for your kids. So the police had been calling Jared, and they came in and they were like, "Look, your husband's not picking up, and if he doesn't pick up, we can't get his side of the story, and at that point we're just going to have to arrest you and your mother-in-law, and we're going to take Tavin into custody."
I showed up and she went anyway, but that's
So when Tavin called you, what was going through your mind? Because I know you were mad at me.
I was mad at you. When Tavin doesn't consistently ring like that, unless there's an issue. So I picked it up. That's what made me answer it.
Okay.
It was Tavin's constant calling. Wanted to make sure that he was okay.
Yeah. And then I got on the phone and you got mad at me and hung up on me and said, "Why did I call the cops?" Now, let me ask you this, because I think Karen is kind of wondering this. She did ask. She wanted to know why, if you knew your mom was the one who was kind of the aggressor in this situation. We're not blaming her, okay, because we were all to fault. We're not just saying this is all Timmy's fault, even though it was. No, seriously though, on a serious note with that, Karen asked, why did you come after me when it was really your mom? Like, why weren't you protecting me from what your mom was doing to me? I think that was Karen's question, if I'm correct, Karen. Am I wording that right? Because I know you had mentioned something like that in one of my comments to the videos, like, yeah, okay, so she is. Don't,
But
yeah.
my mother wasn't even listening to me at all. Like you were at least listening to me a little bit. And when it comes down to it, that's what it is. Not to mention, Tristine isn't as fragile as my mother. Like physically, I mean, like if stand them side by side,
Yeah.
and blow on both of them, one of them will fly away. The other one won't.
I'll be the one that would fly away.
But
No.
my mother was not listening to me at all, and I didn't feel like Tristine was either.
Don't.
But
I don't know if I can. Yeah, just ignore the dumbasses.
I don't even care.
Oh, physically. Oh, she didn't mean physically, but emotionally. Can you elaborate on that, Karen? Like, what do you mean, emotionally? Like, because I was thinking more in lines of you meant physically, because I would have punched the crap out of his mom if she wouldn't have blown over, like acted like there was an earthquake going on. So what do you mean by emotionally? Like, are you saying that you would have liked him to have defended me verbally? And Karen, you just have to ignore all the other things going on. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's exactly it.
And
And that's kind of how I felt too afterwards. And I guess that's why I really felt like the marriage was over. Don't pay attention to it. I told you this was going to happen. Just okay. All right.
I didn't choose my mother over her at all. I chose myself. But unfortunately Tristine was the easier target.
Okay, but wait a minute. Because when we were talking in our video about how you saw your mom on the ground, that really pushed you over the edge. And that's why you attacked me. So it does kind of feel like you were defending your mom over me. And we're not ganging up on you. We're just trying to get into the mindset of like why knowing that she was instigating kind of everything, and you knew that because you were admitting it in the video, why then would you come after me rather than her? And one of the things that you said to me was that I was kind of an easier target. Actually, I think it would be best if Jared kind of explained how angry he was first, because he was really angry more with his mom than he was me.
Well, I was angry at.
Yeah, me too.
I was angry at both of you because you weren't listening to me.
I was listening to you.
My mother wasn't listening to me at all. She wouldn't leave the room, and I already felt like you weren't listening to me, and we. Anyway, so it just unfortunately got out of hand, and I
Okay, go ahead.
lost control. For sure. I don't know, what was your question? We need to move on with the story because I'm on one.
But because we've never gotten the answer. Like, why were you defending your mom over me? And we've had this conversation and you explained it to me pretty easily. And now we're in this, you weren't listening to me when you know that I was listening to you. You say it in the video, but now we're at this point. You got to stop paying attention to the Nimrod because he's confusing the whole conversation. Because we're Jewish now.
I'm not even drinking most of it.
Don't you know you're a Jew? That's fantastic. I just want to thank you for coming on. Blink twice if you need help. This is that stupid guy, so he's wonderful. I gotta tell you, I love you. Thank you for coming on here and supporting my channel. Like, seriously, you're
right,
boosting my numbers. He is getting bullied, isn't he? It's terrible. He's here for you.
Let's not even look at that. So,
Okay.
Where are we in the story? Let's continue on the story of what happened.
We can't get past the mother issue.
So we're
Okay. All right. Okay, good. All right. So here's the thing. So now, because we can't figure out why Jared was picking his mom over me, and this has been kind of a central theme for me. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't make a choice, and I wasn't picking mom over you at all. It may have seemed like that, but I wasn't. I was frustrated at the whole situation. I was angry at the time. I thought you weren't listening to me.
Okay, that makes sense.
When my mother actually wasn't listening to me, that's when I snapped.
Yeah. But you snapped at me. And I think that was where Karen was saying, like, why? Why did you go after her? Like, why didn't you defend Christine from what your mom was doing to her? Like, were you even thinking at the time, like, what is my mom doing to my wife?
No, because by that moment, I was upset that the fight had changed between you and me
It was
to
crazy.
you and mom.
Yeah.
And that's what made me upset.
It was crazy.
I was upset that the fight had turned then. Now I was completely out of the fight, and it was between my mom and my wife. And that's what was irritating.
It did too. It totally turned into that.
And let me tell you, I mean I'm gonna tackle my mother. Come on. But not to mention Christine was closest and she was the easiest. You get a bunch of people into a room and you start fighting. No one's gonna make a good decision.
You're right, and that's a good point. Yeah,
not
because none of us made a good decision. We all made stupid decisions, but your mom kind of escalated it, and I'm not blaming his mom. Because his mom's got some psychological.
No, we can't let this turn into
and that's what I'm saying
about my mother. She played a huge role in it, yes, but we were all a part of the situation. It got so completely out of hand. You get 2 people, 3 people into an issue, and no one feels like they're being heard. They're going to get louder and louder to try to get their point across, and no one is actually listening to anybody else. And you end up saying and doing things that you don't want to do or say in the first place.
Oh, Jared's getting mad.
No. I'm just saying because you're
don't pay attention to it.
It just gets out of hand. And that night, that fight actually did get out of hand. And it was clear that the fight that Christine and I were having had obviously stopped and switched to my mother and Christine. And at that point, it was obvious neither one of them was listening to me. So I left. I just walked out.
And the truth of the matter, now that's an explanation, Karen said. True. And so, you know, as Jared did make a really good point there by saying that, that it did get out of hand. And, when nobody's listening, and I don't think anybody was listening to anybody. I don't think it was just nobody was listening to Jared. Nobody was listening to me. And it did kind of get into this vicious cycle. So,
and no one was listening to mom. Like, we weren't listening to mom. Mom
no,
wasn't listening to us.
That's very true.
We are just to blame for
That's
what mom felt like she needed to do as much as anything else.
Yeah, and that's true. So, okay. So now we're going to get to the point where I'm going off to jail. I'm in the police car and I'm yelling at you. Now, what did you think when I said you did this? Because as I'm walking away, he goes, "I'm sorry, sweetie." And I was like, "No, you're not. This is what you've wanted for a long time." Because and I'm going to explain how I felt so that you can explain, at that point, because this had been building up for quite some time. And so, so this had been building up for quite some time. And I really did think that for a really long time, he was just like, "You know what? I'm ready to go." And I just didn't feel like he had the guts to say it. So I just felt like at that moment, it's like, oh, hey, he finally got what he wanted. So when he said, "I'm sorry, sweetie," my reaction was, "No, you're not. This is what you've wanted all along." And so you're thinking at this time, at that moment, watching me come out in handcuffs.
I was petrified. I was scared. It wasn't what I wanted at all, and my heart was broken. I came back to stop her from going to jail, for the love of God.
Yeah, because that's what the cop told us.
I was told if I didn't go back...
This cop was such a lying sack of poopy doop.
If I didn't go back then and there, that she would be arrested. And so I went back so that she would not be arrested.
That's exactly what the cop told us and told Tavin. So Tavin's begging him to come back so that no one gets taken away. The cops are asking me, "Hey, what do you want to do at this point?" And I'm saying, I don't want to do anything at this point. If you're saying we're all to blame, then we're all to blame. So that was that. So now we're pulling off in the cop car. I'm so glad they just fade. So now I'm pulling off in the cop car and I'm yelling at you. You did this. You did this. So what are you thinking at that point?
At that point, I didn't even hear you.
Okay.
Because
the window was like this big. I couldn't. You did this.
Because I was
seriously.
I was having my own issue with the cop at that point. Because that's when...
Yeah, like you moved fast. Because you were standing right by the cop car, and then when we took off, you were standing by the driveway.
That's because I had to sit down. I couldn't stand up anymore. When I saw you in cuffs, I fell to the ground.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I couldn't move. Because I was like squished like in the door, and then he had a whole bunch of traffic cones in the car, and they were all like, so I was like all squished. I had nowhere to sit in the cop car, and my hands were behind my back, and the cop is yelling at me, "You're sitting on him wrong." I'm like, how would you like me to sit on, like in this size this big, and I'm this big, and my hands are behind my back with these tight handcuffs on. So, okay. So now we're driving off, and I see Jared talking to the cop. So you're telling the cop what?
I was trying to get the cop to take the cuffs off, or at least loosen them.
But we were already driving by. So what were you thinking now as I'm leaving?
How stupid the cops are for not listening to me. And because I was trying to tell them that you actually weren't lying about your neuropathy, and um, at that moment I was trying really hard to hold my composure, because the cop was getting really super legalistic to me about the
Mm.
situation, and I didn't want to hear that. Like the whole restraining order situation was retarded. I mean, I had to sign a restraining order in order to waive it. I didn't want one in the first place. I didn't even want her arrested, and that's what I said. That's what I was trying to get him to understand. I didn't want her arrested. I don't want a restraining order.
Did he tell you before he arrested me that he was going to arrest me?
Yeah,
And what did you tell him?
I don't want that. But and then he said, according to state law,
Oh, it's the aggressor,
yeah,
which did
and
you not
they,
say I'm not the aggressor? Did you say Tristine wasn't the aggressor? Although I am aggressive.
well, no, I
Hey,
didn't
did
say
you
that, but
be aggressive?
uh,
My
he
cheerleading days came back.
he said that he had determined that you were the principal aggressor.
Because he didn't like me.
Um,
Nobody likes me. And that's okay.
and I tried to even get the cop to understand how stupid that restraining order
Yeah.
law
Stupid. Okay.
was.
So now let's move on. Because I want to get to the heart of Jared. And Jared's kind of keeps slumping further over. And he's getting real comfortable.
I'm
Well,
uncomfortable.
you're uncomfortable. I got neuropathy and my hips are
No,
like,
like
ah.
not physically.
Oh, well, okay. We're going to get comfortable
So
here.
let's continue this way.
All right. So as we continue on, we're going to just move this closer in our bed. Yeah, because we're in bed. Oh, that's not good. Hold on. Watch out for my hand. Okay, so now everybody is getting worse. Hold on. See, there we are. We're good now. Welcome to our bed.
Okay.
All right, so I really wanted to know, like, Jared and Tavin today were talking about what happened after I got arrested, and I didn't know this story. I am asking questions. Shut the hell up.
No, don't do it.
So, I wanted to know, thank you. He is doing great. I love Jared. He's just a little uncomfortable. He's not really big for talking in front of a live camera. When we were doing it before, we were recording it. So it was really easy for him, and it was real easy, well, not easy, but I could edit all those quiet moments out. And so, this is just, he's like, "Are you sure you want to do this live tonight? You know me." And I'm like, "It's going to be fine. You're going to be fine." And he is fine. So, can you tell Karen, since she's really the only genuine person listening here, what the conversation that you and Tavin had, because it was really quite an amazing situation.
I had actually I I had made a point to tell Tevin through all of this, no matter what happens, to never ever be mad at you for anything.
Oh, I didn't know that. So how was he reacting when they took me away? See, I don't even know that.
Yeah, I never told you that.
So how did Tavin react to that?
Tavin was scared when you left. When I told him not to be mad at you, it was sweet because he wasn't. But he relied on his trust in me that it would be okay.
I don't, because he was kind of mad at you. So And
Yeah.
he was mad at your mom. He was mad at you.
Because
So
I told
how
him,
did he respond to all of that?
I told Tavin that it was okay to be mad at me for it.
Oh,
Yeah, I told Tavin not to be mad at you, that it's okay to be mad at me, and to trust me that we will get through this, that I didn't know how, but I knew that God would get us through it.
you're a good dad. You're a really good dad. And Tavin absolutely adores you. So he's very lucky to have you, and you're lucky to have Tavin because he really adores you. So, him and Tavin also talked about where Tavin was going to go that night. Jared had to go to work. He had no choice but to
Yeah.
go to work that night, which, how did you feel about that?
I hated it, but it turned out to be a good thing. I felt conflicted because, on one hand, I mean, I felt in like I was in the middle of a rock and a hard place. I didn't have any money to bail Tristine out, and I knew no one that had the $500 in order to bail her out in the first place.